You arrive in a new city and your next case is a large commercial building that has been empty for years. The owners have reported strange occurrences, such as unexplained noises and ghostly apparitions. You start by checking the building's history. You research the building's past and learn that it was originally built in the 1920s and has been through several changes in ownership and use over the years. You also discover that the building was the site of a tragic accident that occurred during construction, in which several workers died. As you dig deeper, you find out that the building was also used as a hospital during World War II and later as a mental institution. The building has been abandoned for many years and many employees and patients have reported strange occurrences, such as ghostly apparitions, unexplained noises and cold spots. With this new information, you suspect that the spirits of the deceased from the accident and the hospital might be behind the haunting. Now that you have more information on the building's history, what do you want to do next? You move on to interviewing the building's owners and employees. You talk to them about their experiences with the strange occurrences, and gather more information about the building's history and past events. Some of them tell you about hearing strange noises, feeling cold spots, and even seeing ghostly apparitions. Based on the information you've gathered, you suspect that the spirits of the deceased from the accident and the hospital might be behind the haunting. Now that you've interviewed the owners and employees, what's your next step? You decide to explore the building's interior. As you move through the building, you use your equipment to detect any paranormal activity. You notice that the EMF detector is picking up some strange readings, and the infrared camera is capturing some unusual thermal activity. You also hear strange noises and feel cold spots, which seem to be coming from different parts of the building. You also use your voice recorder to capture any possible EVPs. As you review the recordings, you hear some strange and unexplained voices. Based on the evidence you've collected, it seems that the building is indeed haunted. You now have enough information to come up with a plan to put the spirits to rest and end the haunting. What's your next step? You decide to set up more equipment to detect paranormal activity. You place additional cameras, EMF detectors and other devices throughout the building to gather more data and evidence of the haunting. As you review the footage and readings from the new equipment, you notice that the strange activity seems to be concentrated in certain areas of the building. Based on this new information, you are able to identify the specific location of the spirits and have a better understanding of the nature of the haunting. This will help you to come up with a more effective plan to put the spirits to rest. What's your next step? You decide to come up with a plan to deal with the haunting. You use all of the information and evidence you've gathered to understand the nature of the spirits and what might be causing the haunting. You may use different methods to deal with the haunting, such as performing a ritual or ceremony to offer peace and respect to the spirits, asking them to find their way to the afterlife, communicating with the spirits using a Ouija board or other methods to try to understand their concerns and what they want, using special tools and equipment such as sage, crystals, holy water, and other objects to clear the energy of the place and help the spirits to move on. You implement your plan, and as you do, you begin to notice a decrease in the strange occurrences and activity. The spirits seem to be at peace and the haunting is finally put to rest. The owners of the building are now able to sell the property to the living. You have successfully completed another case as a paranormal real estate agent. You decide to follow up with the owners to see if the haunting has truly ended. You check in with them a few days after you completed the investigation and they tell you that the strange occurrences have stopped and they haven't had any more problems. They are relieved and grateful for your help. You feel satisfied knowing that you were able to help the owners and resolve the case. You also make a note of the building's history and your experience in case you encounter a similar situation in the future. Now that you've confirmed that the haunting has truly ended, what's your next step? You decide to pack up your equipment and move on to the next case. You load all of your gear into your car and hit the road. As you drive, you can't help but feel a sense of accomplishment. You were able to help the owners and put the spirits to rest. The building is now free of any haunting and can be sold to the living. Before you start your next case, you make a note of the building's history and your experience in case you encounter a similar situation in the future. Now that the case is closed, you're excited to see what the next one has in store for you. You continue on your road trip, eager to take on your next case. As you drive, you come across a small town in the south. You've been called in to investigate an old mansion that has been on the market for a while, but no one wants to buy it because of the strange occurrences that happen at night. The owners have reported loud noises, ghostly apparitions, and objects moving on their own. You arrive at the mansion and start your investigation. You begin by talking to the owners, asking about the history of the mansion and any possible previous paranormal activity. You also take note of the layout of the mansion, and any possible sources of the strange occurrences. As you explore the mansion, you notice that the EMF detector is picking up strange readings, and the infrared camera is capturing some unusual thermal activity. You also hear strange noises and feel cold spots, which seem to be coming from different parts of the mansion. With this new information, you suspect that the mansion might be haunted. What's your next step? You decide to set up more equipment to detect paranormal activity. You place additional cameras, EMF detectors and other devices throughout the mansion to gather more data and evidence of the haunting. As you review the footage and readings from the new equipment, you notice that the strange activity seems to be concentrated in certain areas of the mansion. Based on this new information, you are able to identify the specific location of the spirits and have a better understanding of the nature of the haunting. This will help you to come up with a more effective plan to put the spirits to rest. What's your next step? You decide to research more about the history of the mansion. You dig deeper and learn that the mansion was built in the late 1800s by a wealthy businessman who had made his fortune in the Industrial Revolution. It was said that the businessman had made a deal with the devil to gain his wealth and power. You also find out that the mansion was used as a hospital during World War II and later as a mental institution. Many employees and patients have reported strange occurrences, such as ghostly apparitions, unexplained noises, and cold spots. With this new information, you suspect that the spirits of the businessmen and the deceased from the hospital might be behind the haunting. Now that you have more information on the mansion's history, what do you want to do next? You grab your ghost-busting pack, which is filled with all the tools and equipment you need to deal with haunted properties. You strap it on, ready to take on these ghosts. You start by interviewing the owners and employees of the mansion to gather more information about the strange occurrences and the history of the building. Some of them tell you about hearing strange noises, feeling cold spots, and even seeing ghostly apparitions. You then set up your equipment, including EMF detectors, infrared cameras and other devices to detect paranormal activity. You also use a voice recorder to capture any possible EVPs, electronic voice phenomena. As you move through the mansion, you begin to pick up strange readings and capture eerie noises on the recorder. As you continue your investigation, you begin to piece together what may be causing the haunting. You then come up with a plan to put the spirits to rest, using your tools and equipment such as sage, crystals, holy water, and other objects to clear the energy of the place and help the spirits to move on. With the haunting resolved, the owners are now able to sell the mansion to the living, and you successfully completed your case. You continue on your journey, driving to the next city. As you arrive, you hear about a large commercial building that's been abandoned for years and is said to be haunted. The local authorities have asked for your help to investigate the building and put an end to the strange occurrences. Upon your arrival, you find out that the building has a dark past. It was used as a prison and a lot of inmates died there. It was said that the spirits of the deceased inmates are behind the haunting. You start by setting up equipment to detect paranormal activity. You set up cameras, EMF detectors, and other devices throughout the building to gather data and evidence of the haunting. As you review the footage and readings from the equipment, you notice that the strange activity seems to be concentrated in certain areas of the building. As you explore the building, you come across a locked door that seems to be the source of the strange occurrences. You use your EMF detector to check the area and it shows high levels of electromagnetic activity. You have a few options to open this door. Try to pick the lock. Break down the door. Look for a key. Use a crowbar. You decide to break down the door. You use all your strength to kick the door open, but it doesn't budge. After a few more attempts, the door finally gives way and you're able to enter the room. As you enter the room, you are greeted by a ghostly figure. It is the spirit of the prison warden who had died in the building. He explains that he is still here because he feels guilty for the way he treated the inmates, and that he needs your help to find peace. You have a few options to deal with this spirit. Listen to his story and try to understand his plight. Use your ritual supplies to put him to rest. Try to communicate with him using a Ouija board. Attack him with your ghost-busting equipment. You decide to attack the spirit with your ghost-busting equipment. You reach for your proton pack and fire a stream of energy at the spirit. The spirit screams in agony as the energy from the pack surrounds him, but he is not defeated. The spirit becomes angry and starts to throw objects at you, and you quickly realize that attacking spirits may not always be the best approach. The spirit's anger causes the building to start collapsing and you barely escape alive. This experience teaches you that spirits should be treated with respect and understanding, and that violence is not always the solution. It also serves as a reminder that you need to be prepared for any situation and that you should always have a plan B when dealing with spirits. It is not specified in the scenario if the building had liability insurance or not, but it is common for buildings to have liability insurance in case of accidents or incidents that happen on the property, like the one you described. That liability insurance would likely cover the damages caused by the collapse of the building, but it would not cover the haunting, as most insurance policies do not cover damages caused by paranormal activities. You decide to file a claim with the insurance company to cover the damages caused by the collapse of the building. You gather all the necessary documentation, including the police report, photos of the damages, and any other relevant information. You also provide a detailed account of the events that led to the collapse, highlighting that it was caused by the spirit's anger. You submit the claim and wait for the insurance company to process it. The company may investigate the claim, and may ask for additional information. They may also send an adjuster to assess the damage. It is worth noting that some insurance companies may not cover damages caused by paranormal activities and the claim may be denied. But, you can always appeal the decision or look for other insurance options. In the meantime, you pack up your equipment and hit the road to your next destination. Let me know if you need any help with your next case. As you continue on your road trip, you come across a small town in the Midwest. You've been called in to investigate an old schoolhouse that is said to be haunted by the spirits of former students and teachers. The school has been closed for years, and the local authorities have asked for your help to resolve the strange occurrences and make the building safe for potential future use. Upon your arrival, you start your investigation by interviewing the building's owners and employees, checking the building's history, setting up equipment to detect paranormal activity, exploring the building's interior. Sure, you can take a break and go shopping at the mall before continuing your investigation. The mall is a great place to acquire new items and gear that will help you on your journey as a paranormal real estate agent. You can also take the opportunity to relax and unwind before tackling your next case. You head to the mall and browse the different stores, looking for useful items like EMF detectors, thermal cameras, and other ghost hunting equipment. You also come across some unique items like a spirit box, a device that allows you to communicate with spirits, and a ghost meter, an electronic device that detects changes in electromagnetic fields. After you've finished shopping, you head back to the schoolhouse to continue your investigation. Are you ready to pick up where you left off and solve this case? You're back at the schoolhouse with your new items, ready to solve the case. You set up your equipment, including your new EMF detector, thermal cameras, and spirit box. As you explore the building, you come across a locked door that seems to be the source of the strange occurrences. You use your EMF detector to check the area and it shows high levels of electromagnetic activity. You have a few options to open this door. Try to pick the lock. Break down the door. Look for a key. Use the spirit box to communicate with the spirits and ask them to open the door. You decide to use the spirit box to communicate with the spirits and ask them to open the door. You turn on the spirit box and speak into it, asking the spirits to open the door so you can help them. To your surprise, the door slowly creaks open. As you enter the room, you see the spirit of a young boy. He tells you that he and his classmates were trapped in the school when it was closed and they don't know how to leave. He tells you that they are confused and scared and don't know what to do. You have a few options to deal with these spirits. Listen to their story and try to understand their plight. Use your ritual supplies to put them to rest. Communicate with them using the spirit box. Attack them with your ghost-busting equipment. You decide to communicate with the spirits using the spirit box. You speak into the device, asking the spirits to explain what's happening and how you can help them. The spirits respond, telling you that they are confused and scared, and that they don't know how to leave the school. You listen to their story and try to understand their plight. You explain to them that they have passed on and that it is time for them to move on to the next life. You offer to help them cross over and find peace. The spirits appreciate your understanding and are grateful for your help. With your guidance and the use of your ritual supplies, you successfully help the spirits to cross over and find peace. The school is now free of any paranormal activity and can be used for its intended purpose. You feel satisfied knowing that you were able to help the spirits and resolve the case. You also make a note of the building's history and your experience in case you encounter a similar situation in the future. You decide to talk to the owners of the school and ask if you can list the site for sale. You explain to them that, as a paranormal real estate agent, you have the knowledge and experience to market and sell the property to the right buyer, and that you would be willing to take on the sale with an agent commission of 5%. The owners are impressed with your work and are happy to hear that the property can finally be sold. They agree to let you list the property and handle the sale, with the understanding that you will receive a 5% commission on the sale price. You get to work on listing the property, highlighting the unique features of the building, including its history, and the fact that you were able to resolve the haunting. You also reach out to potential buyers who may be interested in the property with a historical and paranormal background. As the property starts to generate interest, you schedule showings for prospective buyers and help them understand the property's unique characteristics. Once the sale is completed, you will receive your 5% commission and move on to your next case.